first featured reader, which will be Kayla Eason. Kayla Eason is an MFA candidate in fiction at SFSU, and prior to graduate school, she worked as a visual arts journalist. One time, she won $100 for a short story published in the Redlands Review, so that was pretty cool. So welcome to Kayla Eason.
Thank you for coming. My cousins are here.
Welcome!
And thank you, Belro, for having me. I'm going to read a part of a chapter in the novel I've been working on for a while, which will be my thesis. A little context, the story centers on a girl, her name is Mia. She's about 12 years old, almost 13. She is in foster care, living with a friend of her mother's named Val and his son Sebastian, who is the same age. And in this moment, they are entering into an abandoned hotel, because this takes place along the Salton Sea in Southern California, so a lot of abandoned buildings along the sea or lake. So she's just been teased on the playground, and now she's going along with the boys to skate in an empty pool, or that's what she thinks is going to happen. So. A pounding heart, and all else is silence, even the spare cars rolling down Arrow Street, passing Mia and Sebastian with mute presence. Quiet are the desert sparrows running arabesques above them, the birds, little brown arrows. Quiet is the heat, creakling asphalt and weeds. Mia's skin amasses sunlight, her breath is hot, her heart flies. Mia and Sebastian continue to jog. Daniel and Benny are several hundred feet in front of them. Sebastian squints toward the Blue Palm Hotel, a fog-colored Spanish-style structure abandoned 3 decades ago. Mia jogs with one hand holding down her skirt. She watches her legs stretch one and then the other out before her, the day's air dense, hugging her each step. Benny disappears into the Blue Palm through an opening in a large boarded window. Daniel follows, lifting and inserting his wounded leg carefully through the narrow opening. Mia and Sebastian approach the window, stop jogging, breathing hard. Their faces illumined, oxygen pumping them, chests heaving. Her lungs pull from deep in her torso. Above the boarded window there was once a mosaic of glass tiles, shades of blue. Most tiles are now missing, but the remaining few draw an ocean outline. Go ahead, Sebastian says, pointing to the window. Her chest expands widely as she breathes a slower heart. Stretching one leg into the opening, she grips a board across the window, ducks, and glides into the hotel's lightless, hollow cavern. Mia has been inside many abandoned buildings throughout her childhood, but none are as gaping as the Blue Palm. She is familiar with the space. Tarps line the round room's circumference, squatters' beds. In the dimness, Mia can see dark mounds throughout the foyer, piles of possessions. Green pieces of plastic stretch across diamond-shaped cuts patterned into the concave wall and the dome ceiling, plastic applied by people sleeping in the space, desiring only the subtlety of light. The room's darkness is emerald in air and tar-like in shadow, and barely there dust motes grow from the diamonds. Mold emits patches of cooler temperature throughout the room. Gaps between coolness are sour and warm, with body odor and urine, or hard and diamond-like from decades-aged sand tracked in from the desert, or metallic and charred from extinguished fire pits, once fueled by alcohol and trash. Mia wades the green, passing the mounds, just piles of things, canteens, empty liquor bottles, grease-stained paper bags, a baseball bat chewed at the handle, and dirty shoes. The sleeping bags are giant black centipedes. The mounds, contained in their individual spaces, remind Mia of what tumors must look like inside the body's own darkness. Laughter whips through the room and through her. Daniel's voice echoes, and she cannot see him, but she thinks he must be down a hall straight ahead of her. Sebastian ducks into the room through the boards. She hears his steps approach her from behind, and then he breathes near her, standing closely to her. She listens, and her mind says touch. And there is darkness, and the gravity of darkness is lighter, feels dreamy. Her body is hers, and it's also something loose and floating, of the ease of invisibility. She wants to step back, collide gently into Sebastian, feel his breath against her shoulder. She remembers the moment on the playground, only a half hour ago, when he had looked at her in a way that told Mia he wanted to comfort her. That is what she had seen in his eyes. Mia thinks that she is wanted by Sebastian. Mia thinks to herself that she is wanted by him, but her thoughts do not extend beyond the most basic form of want, that being to see, to touch, to behold before all that could otherwise be held by a person. But Sebastian stands behind her thinking that he can't see Daniel and Benny. But he needs to find them. He plugs his nose, breathing through his mouth, squinting his eyes. He searches for movement in the dark. He's not thinking about Mia's form close to his, her curved spine, her thighs, her sunburned neck. He doesn't think to lean into her wavy hair. "Get the bitch over here," Daniel says, a voice from the dark, the nothingness erasing shape or color down the hallway. And there was a night years ago. Mia and Sebastian were 9 years old, when a faceless man knocked on the door of their home. Mia had been living with Val and Sebastian for 2 years at this point. She and Sebastian had been watching The Jungle Book on VHS and eating tater tots in the living room. Mia had just awoken from a nap. It was a Saturday in April. The air was warming reddish to dark purple, and she hadn't napped during the day in many months, maybe over a year, but had fallen asleep exhausted after she and Sebastian had pretended to be Olympic athletes, running races up and down the street for hours. When she awoke, she was certain days had passed. The afternoon sun no longer fanned across her legs. Her jaw felt tight, like she hadn't said a word in weeks. Her eyes and legs itched. Sweat glued her shirt to her body. She dreamt that tiny spiders had emerged from the creases in her palms. She wandered from Sebastian's room in a daze to find The Jungle Book, drawings, verdant and lush, radiant on the TV screen. She sat beside Sebastian, and he smiled at her. His socks were too big for his feet. He was missing both incisors. The knock sounded. Val rose from the kitchen table, where she had been balancing her checkbook, and she answered. Mia and Sebastian heard the door close. Could just make out Val's voice on the front step until it faded into the movie's music. Many minutes passed. The tater tots were warm in Mia's slow-moving mouth. Heaviness weighed just above her eyes, a slight pound within her head. Where was Val, and who was at the door? The passing of time had never before left her feeling so discombobulated or concerned that she had lost something, hours of sunlight. And then she felt Val's long absence. She sensed that something was wrong. She stood and walked to the window, pressed her cheek against the cool glass, able to glimpse sideways the front step. Val and the visitor were not there. Mia walked back to her place beside Sebastian, and the tension in her head grew into a beat, perfect rhythm. She could no longer bring herself to chew the food, closed her eyes, but the muscles in her legs wanted to move, walk through the house. Had it been days since she collapsed on Sebastian's bed? The sliding glass door in the kitchen opened just as Mia passed. The stars had shown up. In the dull stove light, Mia could see that Val's eyes were red and wet, and she was crying in a way that even a 9-year-old recognized as rooted and longing for something. "Val," Mia said. "Come with me, Mia." The two had lain on Val's bed, and she held Mia. "Why are you crying?" "Will you fall asleep with me tonight?" Val had said, her voice close to Mia's ear. And there were no lights on. They could hear the hum from the TV. Val breathed in the small breaths Mia breathed against her. And Mia watched red digital numbers on the alarm clock count up. Because she had slept through the afternoon, Mia couldn't sleep that night, and instead stared at the clock until sometime after 5 a.m. It was the first longest night of her life, a long night following an erased day. The next morning, Mia had asked Sebastian if he knew why Val had been crying. "It was my dad," Sebastian had said. He didn't look at her, and that was all he had said. And now, time, seconds are doing it again. Seconds are slow churned, thickening, and she feels more and more herself in relation to the moment. Mia realizes she could be in danger, and it's like she's watching clock numbers pass, as if the next minute would never come. Mia repeats in her head, "Get the bitch over here." Mia feels Sebastian's hand upon her shoulder. She hopes he will pull her back and against him. He will pull her back through the gap in the boards, into the last day of 6th grade, back onto the empty streets, and maybe they will get ice cream. Maybe they will return home and spray their feet and legs with the hose. Maybe they will lie beneath the swamp cooler, cold air gushing through their hair and over their necks, and laughing chests, and maybe Sebastian will slice her a mango, his fingertips bright orange with chili powder, and they will spend a long, long afternoon together on the precipice of longer days, summer, sun-dominated with short, watercolor nights. But those moments are not this moment, and Sebastian's hand makes a pressure that pushes Mia forward, not back. And she doesn't move, so he presses his hand against her left shoulder blade. "Mia?" he says. He leans and she steps. They walk toward the hallway, a long corridor lined by identical rooms. Mia can see that all of the doors are closed, maybe concealing sleepers or shadows shooting up, maybe a woman and a small child. Her heart is a large weight, big like the dark, and implausible like the place. She's scared, and why is she afraid of the language directed toward her? For though that she feels invisible, the boys somehow see her clearly, realize her more in the dark. She shivers, skin feels electric. Touch her and she'd shock you, touch her and she'd cry. Thank you.